Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the finals, and holy crap, I actually am uploading. I got the first one a couple days ago. I think the tier list should have went up, and yeah, actually posting this one too, so there you go. I don't know if there's going to be any more for this week. I kind of want to do some stuff on BF6 when it does the second weekend, and I didn't even do one for the first weekend yet, so and I've got some stuff on my other channels to catch up on too, so don't know if there'll be any other finals content for this week, but next week, hopefully I'll stay on the train. But yeah, this is kind of a follow-up to the other video I did where I talked about the things that, things that I didn't like about this season, things that bothered me in this season. And this one, I want to talk about the things that I did like, and naturally it's going to be a shorter video because, well, one, when I say these things, it's just going to be like, yeah, I like it, it's good. It's there's not going to be as much like critique and like feedback to offer, so there's not really as much to say. Yeah, so it's just gonna be a shorter video. Gameplay is shorter too, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't need to be as long. Not as much to discuss, and then yeah, not as much nuance to it either. But anyways, yeah, things that I did like about Season 7. So one of them, just because it's fresh on my mind because we're looking at it, is the map. I think this is a pretty solid map. I will say I do think the spawns and like the cash out and vault spawns do need an adjustment, especially like the second set, I think is like generally pretty bad. So I will say that I do think that could use some work, but like the actual map layout itself, I think is pretty solid, and I enjoy it. I enjoy playing on it. I think it's aesthetically really cool, and I think it's generally like pretty fun to play on. So yeah, no Kyoto business here with this map. I don't think it's quite as good as like I don't know, like a Fortune, for example. But definitely like way better than Kyoto and Seoul, and honestly like Monaco a lot of the time too. Like I think it's quite a bit better than those. So yeah, map is pretty solid. Another thing that I liked about this season is the weapon balance. Before you freak out, I already mentioned ones that bothered me in the other video. I'm not saying it's perfect, and there's definitely some particular weapons that I'm kind of tired of that really bother me. And I also am not a big fan of the mid-season update. I think the mid-season update, all the melee, but I think that made the game worse, I'm not going to lie. This is supposed to be a positive video. Let's get back on track. But yeah, so when I say weapon balance, it's not perfect. But in general, I think that, like, for the most part, it's in a pretty good spot, especially for, like, heavy and light. For medium, you have, like, the pike, and the pike kind of, like, ruins it, and now the riot shield is kind of, like, getting into a weird spot like that too. But for heavy and light, outside of like the 93R, I guess, I think that the weapon balance on those classes, for the most part, are pretty good, and you can, again, for the most part, kind of use like what you want to use and have a good time. And even for light, there's weapons that are maybe not like meta weapons, like the bow, for example, but you put a lot of time into them and you get really good with them and you get rewarded, and those weapons can absolutely be very strong. So yeah, I think that it's in, the KS buff too. I think the KS buff on heavy was like really nice and really welcome. So yeah, like I think that you can use a bunch of stuff and kind of have fun with it. And I think it's like some of the best variety that we've had, even though it's not perfect. So yeah, in general, I like the weapon balance. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I like the class balance as well. Last season, in my opinion, heavy felt kind of shitty to play. This season, I think all of the contestants can feel really good. My personal favorite to play is light. And weirdly, even though the pike really bothers me right now, I probably like playing medium the least. To be fair, some of that, for me personally, is probably burnout. I played a lot of medium throughout playing this game. Like I was a medium main for most of this game's life cycle. I played a shit ton of medium. So part of it's probably just burnout for me, and light and heavy just feel like more fresh to me. So there is some bias there. But in general though, again, I like using all the classes. I like flexing. I like switching between all of the different contestants. I like not playing one for too long. I like switching it up and switching around, which is good for the game, right? Like I think that's how you should feel, right? I think that's how you should feel. You should want to use all of the contestants. I mean, it's fine to have like a main or to have one that you default to, but I think that you should want to use a variety and have fun with, like everything that the game has to offer. I think that that's a good thing. And yeah, I think I have a better time with that in this season than maybe any other, because again, I really like using all of them. and medium is probably my personal least favorite, but again, part of that is bias, and there's a lot of people that do some crazy shit on medium, so I don't think it's like a power balance thing at all. Another thing I would say is the healing additions, the healing gadgets. I will, with a caveat though, I still wish they buffed the heal beam. But other than that, I like the new healing gadgets after the Infuser got a nerf. Pre-nerf, the Infuser was freaking dumb. To be honest, it was dumb. But like post-nerf, I think it's fine. And yeah, I was really worried with the heal stuff being added to the game. And I thought it could create a meta that was like really annoying to play. But now that the gadgets are in a pretty good spot and are pretty decently balanced, I think, you know, I quite like where the healing stuff is at. And yeah, I actually think it's pretty fun to play around with. And I like the encouraged team play of all these gadgets, right? Like, obviously, like the heavy gadget and the light gadget, like they really encourage you to play around your team. That's what I like the most about the light gadget, to be honest with you, is that there's lights. There's still some lights that have the gadget equipped that are not good at this. I'm gonna say that right now. But in theory, I think that the gadget is a really good thing for most lights to have, because I think a lot of lights are really fucking bad at playing around their teammates, and the Heal Infuser really encourages you to get a lot better at that, which I think is good overall for just overall team play and feeling of the game. I think that is a good thing. Yes, a lot of lights are still really bad at that, even when they have it equipped. Absolutely, you know, you're not wrong. But in theory, like the idea of it is good and should be, you know, better for the game. So, yeah, so I like that aspect of it. I've been mostly enjoying ranked. I do think things got a bit worse with the mid-season update messing with the spawns. I will say that. But before that change, it was the most fun that I've had in ranked in this game. Like, before that change, when the spawns were good, and beginning of the season, I was having so much fun playing ranked. I wish we didn't have a break and got on it right away, because it was honestly some of the most fun that I've had playing this game. Now that the mid-season update has happened, I still have fun most of the time, but there's a lot more frustration than there was before. But I'm still overall having a good time, and I do think that there's things that are like moving in the right direction. I don't think that the change that they made to the cash box, you know, disappearing with overtime and whatever, I don't think that's the perfect solution to the late game double, like, whole controversy stuff that I've, you know, brought up a million times on the channel. I don't think it's the perfect solution. It's not like my number one solution, but just the fact that they finally implemented a cash out change and like attempted something, you know, is good. Really good to see. And I hope that we see, more of that. I hope that we see more of that going forward, especially with the major coming up. And that's got to be the next video, right? I got to talk about that. So maybe there will be another video this week, or if there's not, you know, expect it next week. I definitely want to talk about that and should talk about that. So that's a perfect segue. Expect that to be the next one. I don't really have much else to say. I'm sure there's some other good things, like I could talk about cosmetics or whatever, but, you know, that stuff's kind of like whatever. Cosmetics are always good. But yeah, I mean, those are just a few things that I've really been enjoying. And the main takeaway is that while there are like very specific things that are not perfect and that are really frustrating about the game, I genuinely do think that the game is in the best spot that it has been. And yeah, like I generally enjoy this meta. Which I cannot say for a few of the previous ones. So yeah, good stuff. What do you guys think about Season 7? You know, agree, disagree with that stuff, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one, where, again, I really need to talk about the major, since I'm always into the competitive stuff, so I need to get around to that. So, yeah, look forward to that one. See you there.